Good evening, Harlan. Tonight I'm going to read to you Christmas Magic by Michael Garland. I don't know about you, but Christmas is definitely my favorite holiday. This book has wonderful illustrations, so I'm going to do my best to make sure you can see them. Emily had always loved Christmas Eve, but this year something about it felt different. She couldn't tell quite what. Maybe it was the way the snow glittered and danced as it drifted down from the sky. It seemed to her that the snowflakes had never been so perfect as they were tonight. She watched the boy who was moving in next door. He seemed too shy to even say hello. A new friend would be nice, she thought, but he went inside before she could think of what to say. Emily continued to roll the snowball she was forming and tried to imagine how her snow woman would look when she was done. So we see she's rolling. Her snow woman. She must have the right name, something fancier than mine, Emily thought as she balanced two more snowballs on top of the first one. I know, I'll call her Katrina. With an old coat and a hat from the attic, a carrot from the pantry, and some coal from the basement, Emily set to work. When she finished, she stepped back to admire her snow woman. Good night, my beautiful Katrina, she said softly. It's getting late, and I still have things to do. Imagine what else she has to do on Christmas Eve. Do you have any traditions on Christmas Eve? Once inside, she carried her gifts, already wrapped and ribboned, to place under the tree. Emily had finished her Christmas shopping weeks ago. She had picked out something special for Mother, Father, her cat, Ginger, and Max, her dog. Next, she lifted the delicate angel choir from a cardboard box and carefully placed each figure on the round table. She glanced with anticipation at the empty stockings and then went upstairs to her room. We see why it's a whole choir. There's several of them. Oh, we see her cat over there and her dog. What were their names? We just read them. Emily changed into her cozy nightgown and looked out the window to check on Katrina. She was surprised to see the boy next door building a snowman in his front yard. I wonder what his name is, she whispered to Max and Ginger. She was tempted to call out the window to the boy, but she didn't want him to think she had been spying. So you see, Ginger and Max and Emily are watching him. Mother and Father tucked her into bed, turned out the light, and closed the door. But Emily was still wide awake. That's happened to me before. She couldn't help thinking about Katrina again. She climbed out of bed and crept to the window. She was amazed at what she saw. Katrina's head was turned toward the snowman in the next yard, and his head was now tilted towards her. Emily knew it was impossible, but they seemed to be looking right at each other. Oh, how do we think that's happening? Suddenly, Emily heard a strange noise coming from the hall. She peeked around the door to see Ginger and Max merely meowing and barking out, "Jingle bells! How can it be?" Emily gasped. A movement at the bottom of the stairs caught her eye. The angel choir had come to life. Emily bounded past her pets and down the steps. The angels flew in circles and loopsy-loops, in and out every room. Emily followed one of them right into the kitchen. Look at them dancing. Oh, they're in the kitchen. Look at all that they're doing. It says Emily stopped in the doorway. She was astonished. That's a big word. That means wowed. Oh my gosh. She was astonished to see an army of mice making Christmas pies, mixing bowls, broken eggshells, and spilled sugar covered the kitchen table. Pets singing? Mice baking? What could be next? Emily giggled. This Christmas Eve is very different. Look at all of them. Now, when I see mice, I don't think about them cooking. I get a little scared. I don't want to see a mice. From the kitchen, Emily went into the parlor. She was just in time to see the Christmas stockings jump down from the fireplace mantel and form a chorus line. With each kick, they spilled more of their goodies onto the floor. Then the Christmas tree started to spin slowly as if it was going to join in. All the ornaments floated loose from the branches. The presents rose from the floor and began circling the tree. That was when Emily heard the music coming from outside. She rushed to the window. Katrina and the snowman weren't just looking at each other now. They were turning into real people. Of all the magical things Emily had seen, this was by far the most amazing. The snowman walked over to Katrina and bowed. She answered with a graceful curtsy. Oh. We still don't know his name yet. I wonder if we're going to figure that out. Oh, they're so pretty. Emily watched the dashing couple swoop and swirl over the glittering snow. In one last sweep, they danced to the steps of her house. Emily heard a light knocking and ran to the door. She was so excited she could hardly open it. There stood Katrina, radiant in her snowy grin. Emily smiled at her. "Hello, Emily," said Katrina. "We thought you might want to come outside and dance with us." Emily nodded eagerly, then quickly put on her hat and coat, mittens and boots. Katrina and the snowman each took one of Emily's hands, and they leaped and swayed and twirled together over the moonlit snow. Look how fun. When the snow stopped falling and dawn was near, Katrina looked up at the brightening sky. Emily followed her gaze. "I loved dancing with you," Emily said breathlessly, "but I should go home now. Thank you for inviting me." "Merry Christmas. We will never forget you," said Katrina, squeezing Emily's hand tightly in her own. Once inside, Emily found she was too tired to climb the stairs. She snuggled up in the big chair by the Christmas tree and soon fell fast asleep. Look how pretty. The next thing Emily knew, she felt a gentle shaking. She sat up and looked around in bewilderment. The stockings hung peacefully by the fireplace. The angels stood exactly where she had placed them. "Did the mice finish baking the pies?" she asked. Father laughed. "That must have been some dream." "Maybe I did dream the whole thing," she thought. "There's only one way to find out." Emily pulled on her coat and over her nightgown and ran outside. Now we gotta see. There, side by side in the sparkling snow, stood Katrina and the snowman. The boy from next door was there too. "I can't believe it," he whispered. "How did my snowman get all the way here?" Emily grinned at him. "It was the Christmas magic," she whispered back. Katrina and the snowman didn't say anything, but Emily was sure their smiles were even wider than before. Oh, and now Katrina's given a little wink. Everyone loves Christmas magic. Good night, Harlan.